Are you the CEO of a company that you're starting to realize that you can't rely on your teams or some of the people who are reporting directly to you? Or maybe you're an executive and you have immediate reports that you have assigned different tasks. However, you're noticing that despite you letting them know how important this particular task is and how much you are, depending on this thing completing on time, you just can't seem to rely on them. Data shows that 75% of major transformations in organizations, they fail. They either fail to deliver on time, or they fail to provide the main reason that project or the transformation was initiated. Hi, if we haven't met before, my name is Fahim Karim, and I'm an employee engagement expert, and I work with companies that are faith and value-based, and I help them in improving their productivity and staying focused on the financial goals by focusing on employee engagement. And the way I do that is that I work with the executive team as well as the employees, and I do a deep dive to see what's really going on and what's not working. And then together I come up with a plan to get the employees back into engagement. They're fully engaged, and then I set up a roadmap where yourself along with your team, you're able to execute that roadmap in getting your teams fully engaged, and that you can get back on the track of meeting your financial goals. And if you need help in implementing them, I'm there to support you. And as someone who has worked in a global organization which has more than $3 trillion in assets under management, I've had to work in different capacities. I worked as a manager, as a leader, I worked as a product manager. I also worked with teams that are cross-functional. And throughout the process of trying to get things done on time, what I found most beneficial is that taking into consideration how my relationship with the team, whether they're directly reporting to me, or if I'm dependent on teams that are not directly reporting to me, but I'm depending on them to work together in completing a particular transformation. And that relationship was so important in getting that transformation done on time. And I've received a lot of awards and accolades for that, and I love to take that expertise and bring that to you so that you can benefit. Did you know that there was a recent survey done by MIT, and it was co-sponsored by Cognizant? And in that survey, they surveyed 4,000 executives, business executives, who were asked about what they thought was one of the challenges that they were facing in the organization when it comes to leadership and managing transformation. And the data that they discovered was really shocking. One of the things they discovered is that these business executives mentioned that they felt maybe only like 8% or 9% of their leadership had the skills necessary to navigate the tremendous transformations that are coming at them. And with COVID, those transformations and complications are so much more complex. So imagine, and if you're listening to this particular live that I'm doing right now, if you're listening to it whether live or at a later time, I consider you among those 8% because you are interested in improving your skills as a leader to help your teams in succeed. So one of the things I covered in my weekly vlog this week, which was a topic that was how to get your teams to be reliable again. And the tip that I shared has to do with something I found very beneficial and useful, and if you apply it, you'll see great results. So the three things that I covered is that in order to get your teams to be reliable, first thing is I looked at it as an individual basis. Like when people are directly reporting to me, what am I doing to support them? How am I making sure that the tasks that I'm assigning to them, they're actually going to be able to deliver? So the first thing I covered is that is the person comfortable in taking this task from you and getting it done? So what do I mean by comfortable? What I mean by that is this particular person that I'm assigning to, does he or she already have the expertise to fulfill the task that I'm assigning them? Maybe they have, either a new hire. Even though they're a new hire, they have already existing experience in this particular transformation or this particular task I'm assigning to them, so I don't really have to do a lot of coaching in that space. However, if this person hasn't had experience in this particular task I'm assigning, then I need to be mindful of that. I need to get this person up to speed on what are some of the skills that are going to help them, and also whether they have if they don't have the necessary skill set, what can I do to support them to be successful in this particular task I'm assigning. The number two, what I covered is that what does done look like? And what I mean by that, this is something that's very important. So for example, as a leader, I have a particular vision of what the end result looks like, what I'm actually expecting from this particular task being completed. However, if I don't articulate that to the person I just assigned this task to, if I don't clearly define and paint it for them, like, okay, this is what I'm trying to achieve. For example, let's say I want a particular, I want this particular person to do a migration, move a particular office from location A to location B. Now, when I'm doing that, when I'm saying that, what do I mean by that? Do I mean that you're in charge of the communications, are in charge of all of the employee notification? What does that look like? And then when I say that we need this function moved to location B, what does that end result look like? Do I want the functions moved exactly the way they're being performed right now, and then just brought into a new location and performed the way we're doing it right now? Or do I expect the person to take the function, however, tweak it, because it's not as efficient as it is right now, and we want the new location to be doing the same function, but in a more streamlined and more efficient manner, right? So you get the picture. So it's not just saying, okay, I need you to do this, but really, what does done look like? What do I have in my mind as the ideal end result? So that's number two. The next one is, have you empowered the person with the necessary authority? And this is something really important. So imagine I've assigned this task to this person. However, this person does not have the authority to go and tell other business leaders what is the transformation that he or she is being assigned to do. So I need to make sure, if I'm the CEO or the executive in charge of leading this initiative, I need to communicate that I have given this person full authority to execute this particular transformation. And what does that authority look like? Does he or she have the power to remove people from teams that are not collaborating, that are not providing the necessary information? Does this person have that authority, right? So that's important, because when that person shows up with the transformation and they have the backing from me as a leader, clearly communicating the support I'm providing and the authority I've given, then that makes it much more successful for the person. Lastly, does the person have the resources? And before I get into that, please put in the comments, I would love to know what are some of the things that you're facing in your organization when it comes to employee engagement. Or also, what are some of the challenges you're facing when it comes to getting big transformations done with your teams, and what are some of the things that you're noticing that are surprising to you? I'd love to hear from you. So the last point is, does this person have the necessary resources? This is something, for example, let's say I want to get this person done, do this particular project, move from location A to location B, right? That is an expensive initiative. Have I given enough resources, like for example, budget, for this person to complete this task? What does that budget look like? And how do I know if that is sufficient, right? Am I just coming up with that number? And if it is something that is a decision that somebody else has to implement, then I need to make sure I engage all those other people who are actually going to be implementing the decision so that I can ensure they have the right resources. Because I might imagine what the resources are needed, however, I'm not the one who's actually implementing it. So it's not fair for me to imagine those resources and then just give it to this person or just not give it to this person, because I think it's just such an easy, simple task and it can be done with minimum resources, whether it's a budget or even allocating other teams to support this person. So when making the decision about resources, if it is not me who's actually implementing it, then I should deliberate that decision by engaging the teams or the people who are actually going to be involved in implementing this particular transformation. And that will truly give us the resources needed, and then I can make the assessment and provide the resource to this particular person who is going to be leading this transformation and getting it done. And by doing these things, so which is making sure the person is comfortable, making sure what I explain to this person or you explain to this person what done looks like, empowering them with the right authority, and lastly, giving them the resources needed based on what they or others who are actually going to be implementing has asked for. That is the way to make sure your transformations are done and that you can really rely on your team. Because other than that, there's going to be discrepancies as to what you are expecting and what the end result is. Without the necessary resources, transformations are held up. It is going to be, the person is going to feel like this is unrealistic. I'm being given a task without the resources that I need to be able to complete it. And then without the empowerment, giving the authority, this person is going to face so many barriers because people are not going to support that change initiative. Like, who are you? Who are you to ask me? I don't know you. You don't have the authority. Well, these things, when they're put into place, then truly you can have a team of people that you can rely on because you have coached them. And in the weekly vlog, I encourage you to see it. One of the examples I gave is the example of a coach. A coach, if I were to go to a coach to help me reach my next best level, what I would expect from that coach is to teach me a couple of things before he takes me to the actual trials. Whether first thing is maybe my mindset, then my physical, my diet, my exercise, my practices, the routines that I need to have in place. When my coaches taught me all of that, then, only then, I'm ready to go to the big trials and to be able to show up as my next best self. So using that coach mindset, bringing that into our businesses as a leader, if you implement these simple yet powerful strategies, you will see that you can truly rely on your teams again, and that they will also respect you, they will feel that totally supported, and they will support you in ways that you would be blown away. These are things that not only I research and I study, but I've actually implemented them at my work and in my two decades of work experience, and I've seen how they have transformed my initiatives and getting those things done on time. So if you like what you've heard today, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. What are some of the challenges you're facing when it comes to getting your teams to work with you? What are some of the challenges you're facing when it comes to employee engagement? I'd love to hear from you, so leave me a comment below, and also follow me on LinkedIn so that you don't miss out on any of the strategies on how to keep your employees engaged and to get your big transformations done. If you're listening to my shows, I consider you among those 8% of those leaders who are ready to handle big transformations that are coming their way. And I also expect you to be among those who are not just happy in being an ordinary leader, but to be among the best. And if you want to do that, follow me and leave your comments below, and I'd love to hear from you.